Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to this pair of games from the German Tier 5 premium medium tank, the T25. Now, this is a weird little machine. It's one of those tanks that, on paper, I can't really see any particular reason why you'd bother picking one up. But in practice, it's a tank that I can train my German medium tank crews in, and it's a machine that I actually have fun in. And I enjoy playing. And whenever I platoon up with anyone and they decide to take out something of Tier 5, or when they do that, it's not uncommon that I'll jump into this machine. So you can see here. And also, it's, as you'll see from the post-battle results, it's capable of making a good bit of cash. So, I'm platooned up with a couple of clanmates. You've got 3XZ, or XZ, however you're supposed to pronounce it, over there, up there, in his M7, and Craig, who you'll have seen before in previous games, in his Panzer IV, Panzer IV-H. So we're forming, a Tier 5 medium tank platoon here, and as you can see, my driving skills are just sublime. So, we've decided to come into the city, on the basis that the enemy team has 3 artillery pieces, a good chunk of tank destroyers, a lot of light tanks. I mean, the light tanks aren't so much the problem themselves, it's more what they're spotting for, but basically, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't want to get caught out in the open against. Now, somewhat unusually perhaps, Craig is using the 75mm gun on his Panzer. It's the gun I actually used on it, rather than the 105 howitzer, which a lot of people prefer. But as I say, I use the 75mm gun as well. So, there's myself, sorry Craig, and a T14, and we know there's at least someone around here. Oh, I just took a shot there from T34, and it looks like well, my crew said its shot bounced, but it might have been eaten by the track. Sometimes the crew reports there aren't as reliable as they might be. And the combined fire from the 3 of us takes out that T34. Now, while I've taken a hit, I've taken some damage, I still have more HP than the vast majority of Tier 5 medium tanks start with, which is one of the nice things about the T25. In common with things like the Matilda Black Prince, you get a good slug of health, although often the Tier 5 medium tanks that get a lot of health, it's only the slower moving ones that get it, but there we go. So, T14 giving me his side armour, flat side armour, so if he's going to do that, I'm going to take advantage of it. And now he's looking the other way, so I put shots into the side and rear of his turret. Oh, that one went into his track / spaced armour, slightly irritatingly. That one went in though. He missed me. Another shot that gets absorbed by his side armour, which is respectable. Bounce another one. I've got a damaged turret, but I managed to finish him off. Now, you could argue that I lost a little bit too much health in that engagement, and perhaps I did. And one thing the T25 is not over-endowed with, in common with a lot of other medium tanks, in particular at Tier 5, is armour. Its armour is decidedly dubious. So, there's the 3 of us here, and there's a KV-1 who is tracked and in all kinds of trouble, and dead. Scoreline is 5-5. So things are fairly even at the moment. Our guys who went north of the base have died. This shouldn't come as a massive surprise. Most of our team went into the town, and thus it shouldn't come as a massive surprise that we've won the town. But, you know, there we go. Them's the breaks, basically. Panzer Soufflé. Don't have a good shot on him, but our artillery ends his little adventure. Shot from the Birch gun. Churchill 3 out there. Now, I move forward. There's a bit of miscommunication here. I thought that the guys were coming with me to deal with this Churchill. And they are, but we run into some problems. We're all on kind of low health, which means we all have problems dealing with these guys. Oh, M37 missed me. And I put him out of his misery. And so that Churchill's going to be problematic, but so is that bishop behind me. Slow turret rotation speed on the T25. But I'm still managing to outmaneuver this bishop. He's missed me, but the Churchill manages to finish me off. Craig manages to nail the bishop, however, and the scoreline is 8-9. We now have a heavy tank, our Excelsior at B1. There's a couple of enemy light tanks, though, on that 1 and 2 line area. And on the other flank, the enemy have a damaged Churchill. I know there's an S-35 somewhere in the background. We saw him earlier on. There might be the Su-85 as well. And we've got a medium 3, which is absolutely no match for a Churchill 3. There we go, he's dead. And our remaining platoon mates. Craig is still against this Churchill. 3X has gone back to base. Craig gets taken out by that S-35 I mentioned earlier on. Our Excelsior's also been taken down by a Panzer IIG, so well done to him. That just leaves 3X and the French artillery piece facing off against a whole world of pain on the enemy team. You can probably hazard a guess at how this one is likely to go. Looked like 3X managed to get a reset there on the cap counter. We've lost our artillery, and so 3X, with his 35 health M7, is the last one remaining on our team. So this is either going to be a loss, or 3X is going to be amazingly, epically heroic. That's a Panzer 1C, which is no match for an M7 if we're going to be honest. M7's armour may not be great, but it's better than the gun on the Panzer 1C. And oh, Covenanter, however, can hurt him. There was artillery. Oh, but 3X manages to take out the Covenanter as well. Covenanter can hurt an M7, but he failed miserably to do so just there. And so 3X is now on 2 kills. Now we know there was a Panzer IIG around here. Panzer IIG has relatively high penetration on its autocannon. He was the guy who took out the Excelsior, and alas, he finishes 3X's little adventure there. 6 kills between us in the platoon, and we get the top 3 experience slots on our team. Alas, it wasn't enough to turn this game into a victory, however. You know, you get games like that. So, a little bit of a contrast. Have a look at the post-battle results. And then we'll jump into the second game, which is going to be rather different on several counts. Here we go with game number 2. Still in the T25. Now, we have gone from being top tier to middle tier. This is a tier 6 game. We've gone from being on a map that, generally speaking, is fairly wide and open, even if we did spend a lot of our time in the town, to a map that is anything but wide and open. This is, of course, Himmelsdorf. Well, technically, this is Winter Himmelsdorf, rather than just good old-fashioned regular Himmelsdorf. Wondering what to do. Screw it. Hell. That's where I think I'm going to be the most useful. This gun is not especially accurate, and for a tier 5 medium tank, it has a relatively long aiming time. I think the aiming time is something like 2.5 seconds, 2.5 I think. And this tank doesn't necessarily do well in big open spaces. Its view range is garbage. Anyway, we're going to the hill. So, we appear to have a respectable contingent of people coming to the hill, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 medium tanks and a tank destroyer are heading over to the other side of the map. This is an encounter game, by the way, so the cap circle is over at E2, F2. And we have a heavy tank, doesn't appear to have loaded up yet. So, we've seen that they've got a bunch of stuff up on the hill as well, which comes as absolutely no surprise. I'm just going to see if I can take any snapshots of opportunity. Not really much point trying for the front of that 88 unless I am able to get an aimed shot in on his weak points, and I don't think he's going to give me the opportunity to do that, so screw that. That's just not a good engagement. Instead, we're going to try and go around the other side of Castle von Himmelsdorf. Now, this is not without its risks. Going around this side of the map exposes you to fire from the D3, D4 kind of region. So if you're going to do this, you want to try and keep as much masonry between you and likely positions of the enemy team as you possibly can. Now in this sort of fight, straight up fight versus a T-34, I have two advantages. 1, alpha damage, my alpha damage is better. 2, health. Neither of us have particularly good armour, so in a straight up fight I'm going to shred that T-34 pretty much every day of the week. But he has a KV-85 friend who takes out our Matilda. Oh no, sorry, he put a shot into the Hetzer. Oh no, he did take out the Matilda. And now, just setting him on fire, keeping him tracked there, set him on fire again after he used his premium fire extinguisher, and good night, sweet prince. That was fun. So back to dealing with that T-34, who's probably not feeling quite so brave now that his big tier 6 friend is dead. And we managed to finish him off, and now there's another tier 6 heavy, this VK. You can see the rate of fire on this gun's pretty good. Somehow we bounced that shot, possibly on the M5 Stuart of all things, but there we go. He just damages my tracks. And one more shot should finish him off. There we go. Alas, we didn't get the kill on the VK, but there we go. So, shots into the rear of an 88. I tried for his commander's Cupola, but it actually bounced. And someone else picks up the kill. But we're on 3 kills, and the hill is very definitely ours. So let's not faff around sitting at the top of this hill, let's just drive straight down it and give them pain. Now, I took a shot in the face there. It wasn't for a huge amount of damage. I would reckon that was probably a HE shell. But I'm not going to go and take on that KV-1 face to face. He's going to have a whole load of problems to deal with. So I'm going to go around and take him roughly from behind. And it's going to be as bad as that sounded. One shot into him. Second shot into him. And if this KV-1 will let me do anything... There we go. I'll put some more damage in. And he is down. We're winning this game 10-4. This is turning into a little bit of a rout. So a nice contrast to the previous game then. Yeah, fired that shot on the move. There's actually crud in between us, so that was never going to hit. And that Panzer IV's having a very bad day right now. T-67 just died, Panzer IV died, that just leaves a KV-1, a T-28 and a Hellcat. That just leaves a Hellcat and a KV-1. So, load high explosive. Alas, it's not a penetrating shot. I'd have been better off with armor piercing. That one, however, did penetrate. Another tank set on fire, and we switch back to armor piercing. KV-1 nails the Hellcat for the kill. And that KV-1's right down the bottom. There's a very good chance I'm not going to get a shot on him before he dies. There we go, he's dead. And that was the game. So, Tier 5 medium tank, Tier 6 game, close range fisticuffs, pumped a load of shots into the bad guys. We managed to rack up over 2,000 damage. Got a high caliber medal, and that was another ace tanker game in the T25, which is always nice. So there we go, a nice short little bit of brutality from the German premium Tier 5 medium tank, the T25. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. And I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.